We're going to look at a method for finding the lowest common multiple and the highest common factor using prime factorization. Okay, so you need to be familiar with what we mean by lowest common multiple and what we mean by highest common factor, and also how to do prime factorization. Okay, so we're going to have two numbers and we're going to have to find the lowest common multiple and highest common factor. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this one example. It's going to be an easier example. We'll do harder ones in the next video, just to kind of get our head around what's going on when we do these this method. Okay, so let's we'll break this up into two questions. Find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of we'll do 64 and 72. Okay, so in order to use prime factorization to find our highest common factor and lowest common multiple, the first thing we've got to do is do prime factorization to both of these numbers. Okay, so I'll do 64 over here. Okay, if you remember, every time you hit a prime number, you stop, that branch ends, and you keep on going until you cannot go any further. So the first thing I would say about 64, well, I think 64 we should be happy as a square number. That's 8 times 8. Okay, then we can split our 8s up because they're not prime. So that is 2, which is prime, lots of 4, which is not prime. And then 4 is 2 times 2, which is the same for this 8, really. It is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. Okay, so if we were to write 64 as a product of its primes, that would be like this. 64 is equal to, well, it's going to be 2. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So it's 2 to the 6. Okay, and don't forget that this can be represented as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And we're going to use this representation in a minute. So I purposely wrote that one after because we're going to use it. Next up, let's do 72. 72. Well, 72, we can do, let's halve it, shall we? So we've got 2, and that is 36. 36 is going to be 3 lots of 12. And then 12 is going to be 2 lots of 6. 6 is 2 lots of 3. Okay, again, don't forget there's different ways you could have gone about this. You could have said that this was 8 times 9, and you would have got to the same answers. You could have, for instance, said that 12 is 4 times 3, then split the 4 into the 2 2s. It still works, just make sure that you're getting the same answer at the end, okay? So 72 as a product of its primes is written as 3 2s, so it's 2 times 2 times 2. So it's 2 to the 3, multiplied by 2 lots of 3. So 3 times 3, which is 3 squared. And again, don't forget this means 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Right then, next up we're going to do a quick Venn diagram to help us out. I'm going to make it a decent size so I can write these numbers into that Venn diagram. Okay, by a Venn diagram we mean 2 circles like so. Okay, in one of these circles we're going to write all the factors of 64, and in the other circle we're going to write all the, well, I should say prime factors of 72. Okay, so writing all the prime factors of 64 in this one, all the prime factors of 72 in this one. You'll see there's an overlap like in many Venn diagrams. What we're going to do, let me grab a different colour pen quickly, is we're going to look at the ones they have in common to begin with. Okay, so they both share a 2. So if I cross this 2 out and put 1 in the middle, okay, they both have another 2, so they both have at least 2 2s, so we can write another 2 there. Cross that one off, cross that one off. Then they have another 2. Okay, now 64 has got more 2s, 72 has no more 2s. Okay, so we cannot put any more 2s. They don't share any more 2s. We cannot share any more 2s between them. So we cannot write any more 2s in here. Okay, can we write any 3s in here? Well, 72 has two lots, or well, 3 and a 3, two threes. 64 doesn't have any threes, so we can't write any threes in the middle. Okay, we go up through our numbers just checking that whether they share any. Okay, and that's it for the what we call the intersection, the bit in the middle. So that means the factors of 64 that cannot go in the middle are 3 more 2's. So let's just put 2, 2, and 2. And then the factors of 72 that haven't gone in the middle are 3 and 3. Okay, so next up, we're going to use this table to first of all find our highest common factor, and then we'll use it to find our lowest common multiple. Okay, so our highest common factor, I'll use this word a second ago. In order to find the highest common factor, you multiply everything that's in the intersection. Okay, so I'm going to write intersection here. I'm going to do it in purple for a specific reason. So intersection. Okay, basically, the intersection is everything in this little part here, where both the circles overlap. Okay, so the intersection of these two circles, you've got 3 2's, so that would be 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so the highest common factor of 64 and 72 will be, well, 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. Okay, that's the highest common factor. Next up is the lowest common multiple. Okay, so lowest common multiple, you want to look at all the numbers you've written down, okay? And it's going to be everything within these two circles. Okay, so we'd call that the union. So that's everything in this circle and everything in this circle. Okay, we do not count the middle twice because that's shared by both. Okay, so let me write this first of all. We'll do this circle. So that is 2 times 2 times 2. We'll do that in purple, times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so that's everything in that circle. Now I'm going to do everything in that circle. Now I've already written down these 3 2's. Okay, so that means we just have these 2 3's left. Okay, so if we work out this calculation, it's going to show us our lowest common multiple. Now there's something I want to quickly show you. Remember, 64 is 6 2's all times together. Okay, so that there, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 64. Okay, so you can think of this calculation as 64 times, well, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so 64 is a factor of whatever this number results in. Okay, another way of thinking about this is, well, 72 is 3 lots of 2 times, 2 cubed times 3 squared. Okay, so you've got 2 cubed, 3 squared. So you could think of this as 72 multiplied by 8. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so you can see that the answer to this number can be written in 2 ways. It can be written as 64 times something and 72 times something. Okay, we can use one of these to work it out. Let's do 64 times 9. So 64 times 10, we'll do this really quickly, is 240. Then we have to take away the extra 64. So that would be 576. Okay, so that means the lowest common multiple is 576. Okay, this example, the numbers weren't too bad. I mean, you could have listed all these factors of 64 and listed all the factors of 72, and then you would have been able to see, well, the highest of them factors is 8, okay? Because there's not a huge amount of factors for 64, there's not a huge amount of factors for 72. You could have also gone up in their times tables. It would have taken a while, but we're only going up to 8 times 72 and 9 times 64. So you do your 70 times table up to 10 times 72, and 64 times table up to 10 times 64. And you'd have got there. It just would have been more effort, okay? We'll look at a harder example in the next video. And then after that, we'll look at when you have 3 numbers.